What's up, family? I hope that you are well. I hope that you are blessed. And I hope that you are safe. This is the Damien Jones podcast. I'm your host, Damien. That is Jones. God bless you wherever you may be. Really good topic today. There's a lot of chaos to unpack. There's a lot of chaos to weave through. And I'm really intrigued by it, and I think most of you are intrigued by it as well. Let's do some housekeeping. Make sure you like the broadcast, share the broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe right now. Share the broadcast. Leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think about the commentary, question on the table. If you're watching on X, Facebook, wherever, support, like, share, all those good things, comment. We love it. 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 First and foremost, I think we just got word of the passing of longtime Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. And so let us keep her family in our prayers. Politics aside, anytime anybody leaves this earth, the Bible says that we all have a day when we will leave this earth. And so God bless her. God bless her family. God bless all people that she impacted. But let's move to this topic. Is Joe Biden leaving? And it's all out chaos in the Democratic Party. I mean, you kind of see it, my background here. You see Barack Obama there. You see Kamala Harris there. You see Joe Biden there. You see Nancy Pelosi there. These are the key major players in this chaos that we are seeing in the Democratic Party. Democratic Party is 2 or 3 weeks away from their first in-person convention in 8 years. We just saw the Republican National Convention on last week, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it was organized, it was exciting, it was electric. The Republicans are in lockstep with one another. They are moving in the right direction. They are on the same page. But then when you look on the other side, it's absolute chaos. The level of chaos in my 15 years of being in politics, I've never seen chaos like this before, especially not on a national level. Never seen it before. So it's fascinating. To be honest with you, it's fascinating. And so the question has been, and let me say this, guys. Many of you have sent me text messages and emails and DMs and things asking me about this topic. And I've been purposely waiting because there's been so much coming down the pipe. So let me wait and kind of let some stuff kind of settle out and we can get some information. And I know on the weekend, not too much is going to come out. So I was like, let me do it on Saturday morning. So I hear you. So when you guys send me messages, I see them and I do react to them. And so the question is Joe Biden going to leave? So Democrats are now coming out in the woodworks to try to push Joe Biden out of the White House, particularly for him to end his campaign. And again, ever since the debate, it's been a brutal, I mean, absolutely brutal 3 or 4 weeks for Joe Biden. And the drip has been slow. George Clooney dropped a op-ed asking him to tip out. And I told y'all, I believe that Clooney doesn't drop that op-ed without the permission of Obama. I knew Obama was behind it. You can't tell me otherwise. And so now we're seeing Obama then kind of dropped a subliminal quote to the Washington Post saying Joe needs to think about the viability of his campaign here recently. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have come out forcefully and said that they've had one-on-one conversations with Biden to tell him the polls don't show that you can win and you need to step out. And so now Democrats are coalescing. They're slowly dripping out. One thing that really stood out to me, I've been waiting. I said, man, what is with this loyalty that Black people have to Joe Biden? Why are black people so loyal to Joe Biden? Who is Joe Biden for black people to be so loyal to? Now, if you told me black people were going to be lockstep loyal to Obama and there's nothing you can do about it, or lockstep loyal to Kamala Harris and there's nothing you can do about it, I can understand that. I can totally understand it. I don't fully disagree. I mean, I don't fully agree with it, but I can understand it. But I am baffled. Let me tell you something, people. I am absolutely baffled by this blind allegiance, this deep loyalty to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, in his 50-year career, has harmed black people way more than he's ever helped black people. Now, I won't say that he's done nothing to help black people, because in his administration, he has hired a lot of black people in his administration. So I won't hate on that. And I think that's something you can't look over. But when you look over the entirety of his career and the legislation that he's passed and the things that he's done, the crime bills, the 88 crime bill, 94 crime bill, so forth and so on, and the way that it hurt the community, what's with this loyalty to Joe Biden? It's really confusing to me. It's really baffling to me. Even to the point where, y'all can look this up, 1,400 black women. And I saw the list last night. It was essentially a star-studded list of black women leaders within politics, within the Democratic Party, that said, "Hey, we're going to support Joe Biden," right? Which is, I mean, hey, it's actually impressive, because I would love to see black men come together in that way and get behind somebody and say, "Hey, here's a list of 1,500 black men. We support so and so, so and so, so and so." I ain't seen it happen yet. So kudos to them for getting behind their candidate. But this loyalty is really confusing to me. That aside, Mark Veazey is the first black person, member of Congress. And I'm telling you, I've been waiting for no black people have come out. I was like, if all these, there are 30 Democrats at this point as I speak right now, House and Senate, that have come out to say, "Joe Biden, you need to step aside." And I was like, where are the black people? Do they not think that Joe Biden doesn't have viability? Do they not think that he has cognitive issues? What is it? Hakeem Jeffries hadn't said anything forcefully. Just waiting. And then Mark Veazey has the guts to come out and say it. And I was like, okay, this might be a trend. So he's come out. But here's what I've told y'all before. Biden and Obama, they don't get along. The Biden and Obama camp do not see eye to eye. Remember, Obama is famous for his quote, "Joe Biden knows how to F something up." They didn't want him to run. But Joe Biden, against all odds, he ran and he won in 2020 somehow. Okay? And so the question is, should Biden step aside? I saw there's a PAC running ads right now, national ads, saying Joe passed the torch. They're trying to be so nice about this before they pull out the knives and start stabbing them in the back. But there are ads being run, Joe passed the torch. But pass the torch to who? Who are you going to pass the torch to? And so let's move here. Okay, you want to pass the torch to Kamala Harris. Let's unpack this Kamala Harris thing. This is really, really interesting. Okay, Kamala Harris is your current vice president. And when you select a person as vice president, historically, you would select them as a person that if something happens to the current president, then this person is going to step in and do a phenomenal job and step right into those shoes. They have the moxie, they have the command, they have the knowledge, the know-how to be a strong leader, right? That's essentially what has normally happened, right? Barack Obama had Joe Biden, George Bush had Dick Cheney, Bill Clinton had Al Gore, Ronald Reagan had H.W. Bush. H.W. Bush had who was it? Was it Dan Quayle? Who was his? I don't know. I think it was Dan Quayle. Anyway, so you essentially think this person is ready to step in. But here's the problem here. Let's go back to 2020. Why was Kamala Harris chosen as vice president? She wasn't that great as a communicator on the issues. Really wasn't. She hadn't been in the Senate long, so it wasn't because she has deep relationships and can really move votes the way Joe Biden did for Obama. No, she didn't have that. She didn't have the support of her state when she ran for president. Her campaign flopped and ended early. Didn't even make it to Super Tuesday because there was chaos within the campaign, and she couldn't even win California. So why was she chosen? She was chosen because of identity politics. Come on, hear me well. Watch this. She was chosen because of identity politics, not because of her abilities, not because she's a strong leader, not because she has a great command on the global stage, simply because Democrats love to play identity politics, and they chose a black woman to appease the black electorate at that time. So now, the decisions that you make in 2020 are going to affect you in 24. And what do we have here? Joe Biden is not fit to serve, but now the majority of people in the party are saying, we don't want Kamala either. We don't want Kamala. She's not fit to be president either. We've seen her cackle for 4 years. We've seen her stumble over her words for 4 years. We've seen her avoid tough questions for 4 years. We've seen her be anointed the border czar, but never go to the border. She's the border czar, one of the top issues in America. She's the czar of, and she hasn't gone to the border, has no command of the issue, and the issue is an absolute train wreck right now. So why would anybody, let alone her party, want her to be the next nominee and the heir apparent to Joe Biden? But the problem lies therein. Why'd you choose her in the first place? And it's disrespectful. Now, I agree. It is disrespectful. If I'm vice president and I'm capable, I'm young, and I'm sure she wants to do the job. But now people are saying they have no confidence in you. What do you do? How do you handle that? How does your ego handle that? How do you face people? How do you look at the donors? You're pretty much a lame duck, and they've taken the wind out of your sails. And so the Democrats have a chaotic situation here. Some say Joe Biden should go. Some say Joe Biden should stay. Some say Joe Biden should go and they should move Kamala into the next seat. Some say, no, it's not Kamala. Let's move Gretchen Whitmer into the next seat, or let's move Wes Moore into the next seat, or Tim Walz, or Gavin, whomever these lackluster Democratic Party candidates are. The Democratic Party doesn't have a bench at all. The Republicans have a really good bench. I'm gonna be honest with you, really good bench of talent to choose from. They've cultivated, and if something happens to Trump, then you got several folks that could step in and lead at a high level. Democrats don't have that. And I'm speaking objectively here. Who? You tell me who they got. Who? Wes Moore doesn't have the name ID yet. Nobody knows him. I think he's a energetic guy, but nobody knows him like that on a national scale to beat Trump. Gretchen Whitmer doesn't have the name ID as well. She's a woman, has done a lot of questionable things. So America's not going to elect a woman. We've seen that. Gavin Newsom, he's an absolute mess in what he's done with his state. He's lost millions of Californians because he's done a terrible job as governor. So who you got that's going to beat Donald Trump, right? There's nobody there. But here's what I'll tell you. And let me get on Pelosi. You see Pelosi up there with her kente cloth. Y'all remember that kente cloth. I won't go into that, okay? Here's what's really at stake. When people say what's at stake, when they say democracy is at stake, the soul of our nation, that's BS. Here's why Democrats are fighting so hard to push Joe Biden out, because they gotta save face. I really believe Democrats really know that they're not going to win this election, but I think they're saying we can stop the bleeding a little bit. And when we say stop the bleeding, here's what's at stake here. Here's what nobody will say out loud, and you're hearing it right here on the Damien Jones podcast. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. What's at stake is not democracy, is not Donald Trump is a dictator. It's none of that kind of crap. What's at stake is the way things are trending. The Republicans will have control of all three houses of government next year. The way things are trending, because watch this. So Republicans currently hold the House. They currently hold the House of Representatives. Okay, all right. The way things are trending, that lead, they're going to build a lead there next year. They're going to win some more seats. It's just what it is. The Democratic Party is in chaos. Top of the ticket is in chaos. Whomever they choose, not going to inspire. So the lead that Republicans have in the House right now is going to grow. Right, that's my prediction. But what about the Senate? Right now, the Senate is pretty much 50-50, but Democrats have the tiebreaker with Kamala Harris. Vice president is always the tie-breaking vote. But the way things are trending, Republicans will also control the Senate in the next Congress. So now Republicans have the House, they'll have the Senate, and they'll also have the White House. Okay. On top of having a strong majority, 6-3, in the Supreme Court. Right? But watch this. Here's the kicker. This is what really scares Democrats. In the next 4 years, if Donald Trump wins, then he's also going to likely appoint one, maybe two more Supreme Court justices. Right? And depending on who those folks is, then the tilt in the Senate could go from 6-3 to 7-2 or 8-1. Right? That's what's really scaring Democrats. That's what's really, putting Donald Trump's life in danger. That's why they want him out of the paint, because if he gets in the White House, Republicans are going to build their lead on the Supreme Court. They're going to get the Senate. They're going to control the House and the White House. And that means any legislation that Republicans want to push forward, it's going to pass easily, and Democrats' voice is going to be non-existent. Right? That's what's really at stake. Nobody will tell you that. But this issue is only the fault of Democrats. They put themselves in this position. But hey, let me answer the question and then I'll get out of here. Should Joe Biden step down? I was reading, I think it was New York Times, and they began to talk about how in 2016, Hillary, Obama, and others, all these advisors, all these political people, Joe Biden wanted to run. He thought it was his opportunity. Hey, I'm next in line. And they talked him out of it. They said, oh, your son just died and blah, 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 blah. And they talked him out of it. And I think something that Joe Biden wanted all of his life to be president, and he let these folks talk him out of it. And then Hillary lost, and he really felt like, hey, I should have ran. And so he ran in 2020 when nobody wanted him to, and he won. And so now Joe Biden saying, y'all told me not to run, and I won. So why now should I listen to what you're telling me now? So there's a rift right now between Obama and Biden. There's a rift between Michelle and Jill. There's a rift between these camps. There's a rift. And here's what I'm telling you. The Biden camp has now isolated themselves away from all of these voices, away from all these folks, and they are hunkering down, and Joe Biden is not going to step aside. Joe Biden is stubborn. Joe Biden is going to prove these people wrong again. He already proved them wrong, and he's going to stay in the race. Now, is that the right thing to do from a strategy standpoint? No. But I can respect that he wants to stay in the race and finish what he started, right? He has the choice to choose whether he wants to. So I think he's not going to step aside. Now, I can't tell you what Obama and Schumer and Pelosi and these others are going to concoct to try to get him out. But let me tell you, all these leaks that you're hearing about, Biden's going to step aside this weekend, that's not coming from the Biden campaign. That's not coming from the Biden insiders. It's coming from outside people who want to try to pressure him out. And I don't think he's stepping away. He doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know where he is half the time. But I'm going to tell you, I feel strongly, Joe Biden, he's going to lose. It don't matter who they put up, whether it be Joe Biden, whether it be, I don't care who they put up. They're going to lose regardless. But Joe Biden is not going to step aside at all. He's going to prove a point because he is pissed with Obama. He's pissed, with Pelosi. He's pissed with Schumer. And I don't think he feels great about Kamala's chances to win either. Joe Biden's going to do what's best for him and his family. And so Jill is not going to tell him, yeah, babe, let's listen to the outsiders, and step aside. No, they're going to go out in a blaze of glory. And I love the chaos. I love the chaos. I love the chaos. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Should Joe Biden step aside? Do you think he's going to leave? Do you think they're treating him right by the way that they're trying to pressure him out? Right? Do you even think the Democrats have a chance to win? If you do think they have a chance to win, who's the best candidate? Do you think it's Joe? Do you think it's Kamala? Do you think it's somebody else? Right? How do the Democrats solve this chaos that they're in, that they caused, while the Republican Party is in lockstep? They are on one accord, and we are moving toward a big win in 2024. Y'all know where I stand. I'm MAGA all the way. I'm Trump all the way. Let's make America great again. But I love to see this chaos. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Tell me what you think in the comments. God bless you. Until next time, this is the Damien Jones podcast.